So a new pack with phenomenal finishing Totti and phenomenal pass Johan Cruyff. Now I actually do have two players in my club with phenomenal pass, and I think it is a decent skill, but I do think it will suit forward players better. So if you don't know what phenomenal pass does, it essentially just makes off balance passes extremely accurate. Essentially, it's like you're not off balance at all. So I think it'll suit forward players in the middle, like Johan Cruyff, because you're going to be off balance more when you're trying to beat defenders. So today we're going to look at the best builds for the players, what skills to put on, and if I recommend spending your coins on this pack. So if we look at the build for Johan Cruyff, you can see this is what we're starting at. We do have 5 points extra, but I want to talk about what we're going to do with them 5 points because there is a choice. So before that, look at all the boosters. You can see we get the 85 low pass, the 85 finishing, the 85 kick and power, and the 86 balance. So we're getting +3s and all them. So put the boost back on. With these 5 points, you have two kind of paths you can go down. You can go into the dexterity, get the offensive awareness to 90, or you can go into the kick and power for 1. And then with a booster, you can go free kick taken or striker's instinct. Actually, not striker's instinct, be shooting to get to the 90 kick and power. Then you have 2 points left over, and then at least one of them can go into the jumping. What would I recommend doing? For a deep line forward, I think if you have like 95 offensive awareness at second striker, you drop a lot deeper. If you have about 90 offensive awareness, you don't drop too deep, which is actually, it can be a good thing. You probably don't want your deep line forward at SS dropping too deep. But as centre forward, I don't think there's a major difference in terms of the positioning, in terms of the overall area of the pitch. You just will get a little bit more runs and a little bit more kind of quicker reactions when you have the 90 offensive awareness like this compared to the 88. Now, alternatively, you can lower the passing to get the 90 kick and power as well as the awareness. Probably can do that. I would like to get the 88 just because he has the phenomenal passing skill, but then you could look at it the other way around and say, well, if he has the skill, he doesn't need the stats extremely high. So this is the build I would go for if all things considered. You can't take the shooting down because if you go down 1 point, I know 91 isn't ideal. You probably want 90 instead of 91 and redistribute the points, but the way the levels are working, you're not going to get that +3 boost. So I think stats-wise, this Cruyff does look very good, very well-rounded, and with the skill of phenomenal passing, I think he'll be a lot more effective. So if we look at his other skills, I would recommend double touch and sole control because he does have the very high weak foot. You can do the ball roll onto either foot and score with each of them. He definitely does need acrobatic finishing as well, and definitely needs first time shot. So they don't really have him built kind of correctly, or not correctly, but I think he's missing acrobatic finish and first time shot need to go on him, especially first time shot deep line forwards. If you watch my Berbatov review, you know how often you get a first time shot with the deep line forward, so definitely put first time shot on him. And then for the last skill, you can choose between long range shooting and fighting spirit. I don't really think I have a preference, really. Maybe fighting spirit just to kind of get a little bit less scripting against you, but long range shooting will be effective too, although he does have really high finishing and kick and power, so maybe you don't need it too much for the edge of the box shots. But then again, you can always look at it the other way. If he has the good stats, you know, put the skill on to kind of boost it. If I had to pick between long range shooting and fighting spirit, I'd probably end up going fighting spirit if I don't have a substitute, appropriate substitute. Because I have good substitutes for deep line forward, I have Cantona, Messi, Berbatov, I'd probably go long range shooting because I don't need the stamina kind of effects from them, so I'd substitute them out. Alright, next player we will look at is Stoichkov. So I actually have 2 different builds for Stoichkov. So one of them is a lower finishing build, but more well-rounded. You can see we're still getting 85. It's pretty much everywhere. Speed, acceleration, kick and power, balance, finishing, and tight possession are all above 85. You could also go like this, take one off there to get the 85 curl. And then if we put the boosters on, this is what it looks like. But then this is what I had a moment ago for the 89 on the tight possession, and then with that 89 you can go, I think, the ball carrying. Yeah, you can go ball carrying, you can go into fantasista, but if you do go into ball carrying, you actually kind of distribute points very well because his dexterity is his highest attribute. You take that off and then get the passing up to 70 as well, although you do lose the 90 threshold on the balance, but you could rely on form to get you to that. The next build is a 95 finishing build, but it does require a lot of points. You can see dribbling's a bit lower and balance is noticeably lower. Obviously with this build though, because you put 13 points into shooting, if you put on a shooting booster, you can put the points back into the card elsewhere. So you could go get the dribbling back up, or you could try get the dexterity up a little bit more, but you've already invested a lot of points into dexterity, so that's not going to work too much. Although if you do take all the aerial strength off with the boosters I have here, you can see we still get the 90 balance. So 90 balance, 95 finishing, 94 awareness. This guy should be pretty good. I don't see many major issues with the card. If you go Striker's Instinct instead, actually, we also get the offensive awareness to 95. So I'd probably go, what was the shooting one we're getting to get over that? The kicking power is lower. So no, Striker's Instinct surely better. Okay, you don't get, okay, you get less kicking power, but kicking power was 89 before. We weren't getting a threshold. So I think this is actually probably the best build. Slight change there when looking at that second booster. So if you look at the skills on Stoichkov, he's mainly missing kind of on the ball ability ones, but he's missing a major one in true passing. I pretty much recommend true passing on every player on the pitch. Definitely get true passing on him. You can also go for double touch, up behind and turn, heel trick, and Marseille turn. I didn't recommend the ball roll. I mean, I do recommend that actually. The reason I didn't mention that at first there is just because I kind of recommend it on all players, or every single player that's a forward. And I'm sure some of you are a bit bored of me saying put, you know, soul control and flip flop on. So if you do use that ball roll, definitely go for it. It's the most important kind of animation you can get. But if you're not someone who really likes using the ball roll, double touch, you know, cut behind, heel trick, Marseille turn will be more well-rounded for that kind of player. But actually, just go back to CRYUFF. The reason I recommend it on CRYUFF specifically, the double touch and soul control, is because he has got the very high weak foot, so you can do the ball roll onto either foot. If Stoichkov had very high weak foot, I would just recommend getting the ball roll on him. But because he only has the high, it's not that he wouldn't be effective on his weak foot. He definitely will be very effective on his weak foot, but it just doesn't scream out to me as much that you need the ball roll. Right, so for the last player, it is Totti, and I need kind of help from the comments for this one, because Totti has phenomenal finishing. I guess some people ask me what phenomenal finishing is. Essentially, it's kind of like acrobatic finishing, but on steroids a little bit. And if you actually look at his skills there, you can see he doesn't have acrobatic finishing. And I don't know, when we recommend the skills, if you should put acrobatic finishing on him or not, because I haven't had the opportunity to experiment the player with phenomenal finishing and without having acrobatic finishing as a skill. So if anyone has any kind of insight on that in the comments, if they've used a player with phenomenal finishing but without acrobatic finishing, and let us know what you think. That can kind of give us a guideline. For me, if I was in the situation where I got this Totti and I didn't have someone to tell me what they think about if you need acrobatic finish or not, I would just put it on Totti just to be safe. You know, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I guess we'll just recommend the skills now, and I'll talk about the build after them. So yeah, the skills I have wrote down are double touch, Marseille turn, cut behind and turn, fighting spirit, and then long range curler / acrobatic finishing, depending on if you think it will be kind of useful or not. In kind of, what would the word be, second effect to the phenomenal finishing. I don't know. It's 4 AM, boys. I'm a bit tired. I was playing Call of Duty all night. So if we go into the build, actually this build I wanted to do on the video. I wanted to kind of do it alongside you guys, just because I usually always have them pre-prepared, but I want to kind of go through the process of how I do the builds. So first thing I do, take off all the boosts, and I just look for 85. So 85 is the stats I'd like to have to 85. So we go 85 finishing, 85 on the ball control, 85 speed, and then see, we can go to 85 acceleration and the balance, but we actually can get the awareness up too, so we'll go up there. Then physical contact to 80. It's only 2 points, so I'm looking at like that. That makes sense. And then passing, it's gonna get a +2 to 80 on both of them anyway, so I don't have to move them just yet. So then I put the boosters on, and I can see, all right, we're getting all 90s on the dribbling, but I like getting 95 on dribbling stats if I want to make a player a elite tier dribbler. So after that, now we're gonna want to get the finishing to 90, so I go like that, and then the kick and power to 90 as well, because the combination is so effective. Now we can also get the speed to 90, but it's going to be 11 points, so we're going to hold off on that for a little bit and come back to it later maybe. So let me take the boosters off again. So if we want to get the pass to 85, it would require 7 points, and that's too much. We're also getting a booster on the pass, and so we don't actually need 90. If we get to 88, we're fine. So we'll leave it on 6 points for now, but we might take some points off. Then we can get the speed to 90 there. Okay. See, the thing is, it looks like obvious, you know, to go for the speed. We can obviously do it with a booster, I don't think you actually, I don't think if this guy had 70 speed or 90 speed, I don't think he'd perform too much differently in game because of the way the type of player Totti is. So I guess in that situation, then we've only put 6 points into shooting. Yes, 92 there, but it doesn't get the curl higher much. Dribbling, we can get a 95. Okay, yeah, so I'd probably go something like this. And then, is there anything that boosts speed? Agility boosts speed. Does any of the shooting ones? So striker's instinct, no. Shooting, no. And then that would probably be them all. Hard worker, probably boost some defending stuff as well. But yeah, I think I want that speed to 90 with the booster. And then is there anything we can take off? If we took off dexterity, we lose the +3, so we shouldn't do that on the offensive awareness. And then, yeah, I think that this build doesn't look bad to me. I think, yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay, we're actually not done though. I just took off the recording for a second. I have found that build with 95 finishing as well. So I think this build, if you're playing him centre forward, and because he has phenomenal finishing, it might be more useful. This is very good as well because we get the 95 finishing, we get the 90 kicking power, and we get the +90 balance, 88 offensive awareness, 88 speed. So the difference between the builds really is that speed, and I did kind of say you don't really need the speed. It's not gonna move the needle really. Also, we get the 80 aerial strength. We don't actually need. Oh, we can go -1 there. Actually, that's an leftover point. Yeah, so this is the build I recommend. Even if you're playing on AMF, I think it would be kind of the best. So I don't know. I just wanted to include this kind of version of doing it, just to kind of go through the process, kind of show you how I incrementally kind of build up the cards. You know, usually just when I came to the second build here, I literally just put the shooting onto 10, or actually it would have been 11. We did the booster method, and then worked backwards from that build because I wanted a 95 finishing build. So when I started off, I just went like this, take off all the boosts. Like that, I just went like that and then kind of worked backwards. So that's kind of the process I did. So it's actually not that complicated, but it's kind of, you have to know what stats are actually important. I don't know, actually, another thing, I don't know if the physical contact from 79 to 80 is really going to be that much of a difference. I notice a major difference between 69 and 70. It's like the animations just start getting activated. From reviewing Berbatov, I tried an 80 physical contact build and a below 80 physical contact. I don't remember what number, and I really couldn't say I noticed a difference. Maybe I noticed them holding off players a bit longer, but I didn't notice any improvement in the actual gameplay. Because with the way physical contact works in this game, I feel like it doesn't matter how long you can hold off the defenders, because with the AI defending and the second man press, if you hold off the defender for, let's say, 3 seconds, you're going to get closed down by the second defender anyway. All you need to be able to have your players do is hold off the defender for that half second, the 1 second, so you can release the ball. You can either pass or shoot, or just dribble away, but like not towards anyone else, and it's kind of wasting the angle you've created. So being able to hold on to the ball for a long time physically just isn't that much of an advantage, because you're just going to get closed down. So overall thoughts on the pack. I think this isn't a terrible pack if you just want a single centre forward. I would include Totti in that as well. I do think Totti will be best as a centre forward or a second striker. I think it will be very effective. I think all three of them will, especially because this Stoichkov now has a bit more balance. So I do think if you want to just get one of them, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I do have a video I uploaded before this. It'll show you your odds if you want to know how likely you are to get 1, 2, or 3 of these guys in a certain amount of spin. So if you are like me and you have 10,600 coins in your account, it'll calculate the percentage chance that you get your kind of specified legends, or the expected cost if you wanted, let's say, 2 of them. How much coins over the long run after running simulations would you expect it to cost you to get those legends that you're looking for?